Good morning, everybody. Jack Leeson with StartupTraining.com. It is 9:09 here, 28th of March. Technical analysis video for the indexes here, and a lot of things to go over. Honestly, this morning. First, I want to go over yesterday. Yesterday was just wild. So we came in. We had. I'm going to go to the Nasdaq first. We had that extension from it was the 1020 low to low, and basically we had finished the day inside of that extension. I was mentioning that it had retested in the overnight session, or basically wound up again. We went straight down to those targets, and then I was looking for that same anchor new low. That same anchor new low traded, and then we just ripped all the way up through here, through the overnight high, above the lower mid, got that liquidity sweep, and then finally rolled over. We had one more test of the 38% retracement into the close, and then just dove down into basically lows. Now, that extension is going to be kind of similar to yesterday. We're going to be opening up on that profit target. Now, one thing I'm not going to do here again is be unaware that if we hit that profit target, we could look something like we did yesterday, where you drive down into profit targets and then rip higher. So maybe that's a potential scenario here this morning. But also, on top of that, we're going to be running into, I mentioned that the NQM5 had traded its full halfway back long, but the continuous is going to be lining up with that here this morning. So that is what we're going to want to pay attention to. The continuous will be lining up with that level here this morning. And that is about a 19,840s. Now, going into the close and what we've held here in the overnight session. Nice. Thanks, Perry. Why is that not working? Hold on, I'm just checking to make sure this video is rolling. Make sure I'm not speaking to myself. Okay, yes, it is my screen. Cool. All right, back to business. Perry mentioned, we're in that potential 80% rule. We're below value. From a fib perspective, there was an anchor at 340 to low. We traded it into the close, completed overnight, traded it again, European session. Beautiful entry. I mean, just right at that 2 a.m. This is the kind of move that makes me want to just wake up in the middle of the night and put an order on and go back to bed. And then, that same anchor new low, we're going into the open with the same anchor new low. And, we really just had inverse fair value gap. This is, a bottoming signal I look for. If we're below lower mid and you have a signal print down and then a single print up, that's absolutely a bottoming signal for me. So if we can come back up into, I think these support levels are going to get respected here. This 19,840 on a first test, I might even be willing to limit them. But if we break this extension, take this overnight high 645 out, I fully expect us to get back up, basically to yesterday's value area high areas. So this price pattern here, this is something I look for when we're below this lower mid. You have a single print lower and then a single print higher. Just basically, a bottoming formation for me, especially when we're exhausted below the lower mid. Moving on, I don't know if you can hear my voice, but I have a little cold for the first time in quite a while. But moving on to the ES, you could argue we traded that full 50% retracement short. You could also argue there is an extension there, but both of them had sellers. The full halfway back, of course, a little more accurate. That downside target would be a 56.92, and what I'm going to want to do is take yesterday's high to low, that's going to be really between that yesterday's high to low to the midpoint of the day, which is 57.50. That's going to be my anticipated resistance. Now, if we clear that, I think we'll have pullbacks to buy in the higher time frame. But this most recent bottom, you can see, I mean, they jammed that lower, and once again, you get that single print lower, and then an immediate one right after. We just start running here. So we'll see once we open if we can actually trade a halfway back long from lows. Based on that price action, I'd be willing to take it and run it up into that full halfway back short. But these are going to be the levels that I'm paying attention to. And the ES is far away, I think. Maybe on the continuous. Let me check the Scalwelly chart real quick. The ES doesn't have that near as same as setup as the NQ does as far as being in that full halfway back long. That's much further away. So yeah, that's what I'm going to have here. And then of course, next week, April 2nd, all of those tariffs are going on. So it's going to be interesting to see how the market, like once those actually go on, like how some of the more of the underlying like credit spreads, things like that are going to be affecting the market. But I'll share these levels with you guys in the room and then jump on the Squawk. Take care.